How to go from first message to phone number, conversation breakdowns. So, my name's Connor, and why should you listen to me? So, I've built a top 1% profile on Hinge and pull in around 30 to 40 likes a day consistently. Plus, I convert about 90% of my matches into actual numbers. So, if you don't believe me, here's some proof. So, notifications, all the messages I get. This is a 45 seconds recording of getting 67 likes in 3 hours. And this is just my profile with all the likes that come with it. As you can see, pretty much every minute to every couple of minutes, all the way up until 3 hours. And this is just a handful of messages, numbers that I get on the daily. So yeah, you get the point. So my method is called magnetic messaging. So what is it? It's the art of keeping the conversation fun, flirty, playful, and teasing the entire way through from the first message all the way to the first date. So before you send any message, you want to ask yourself, how can I make this fun, flirtatious, playful, or with a little teasing? I call this the core four. When you do this, you create conversations that she actually wants to stay in and keeps coming back to. So I have 5 conversations that I'm going to break down in this video, and the first one is with Emily. So as you can see, she sent me a rose to my tuxedo shot. So as you know, my go-to line, this is how you can expect me to look as your plus one to a wedding. I'm looking for a plus one to a wedding next year, so that's convenient. Not to boost your ego too much, but you do look good in a suit. So really strong start, a positive reply, and also gives me a good compliment. That's very convenient indeed. Let's just say you'd look good on my arm. I mean, I very much took that as a gentle stroke to the ego. So, trying to keep it playful and fun with that response. And basically, like, not saying, oh, thank you, because she complimented me. Like, you don't want to be doing that. So then she said, oh, thank you. That was also a bit of an ego boost. And I would absolutely take it. So, I said, acting like she doesn't get ego boosts all day from Sims, So it must have meant a lot to her that was from me. Well, let's be honest, when we rock up together in matching attire, I can see a lot of guests boosting our egos, so we might as well boost each other's now. Yeah, it has to be this or nothing. Matching outfits are so cute. Just have to try and not outshine the bride and groom. So, as you can see, combo still going strong from that first line. No boring small talk over here. And I want you to notice as well, notice that she's using a lot of emojis, and I don't. You're gay if you use these emojis as a man. So as you can see from the top, like 1, 2, 3, like a couple of messages in, she's already used 4 emojis. I haven't used any, So if we outshine the bride and groom, that's on them, not us at Emily. I'm sure they'd understand. I need you looking good on my arm. Haha, I like your thinking. Well, I'll see what I can do. As long as you're into natural girls, some of us are more blessed than others. So still matching my energy in the convo, gives me a hint into what physical assets she possesses, which is always nice. And then I simply reply with, so 5'1", natural girls are my gig. How about you just fill in the blank already? And then you can see number secured. So like I said, no small talk, no questions, just an easy flowing convo off one line. So that's how you should be talking to girls. So the next conversation is with Ellie on Tinder. So I start by, Ellie, can I get a tattoo count before I make any advancements? So Ellie, in her photo, she actually had a lot of tattoos visible. So anyone with a lot of tattoos, I usually say this. So I use this opener for when I notice they have a lot of tattoos in their photos. Instead of saying, oh, nice tattoos, or I like your tattoos, I'm saying I need to know how many you have before I begin this interaction. She then said, well, I'm in the middle of getting more, so currently sat at 23, but it will be more. It will be 29 in the next couple of hours. So as you can see, like she gives a detailed response here instead of saying like, oh, just 23, and then that doesn't really give me a lot to work off. So that's what you get when you get a good initial opener. Well, that's lucky because I capped my limit at 30, so that opens it up for some potential advancements. I take it you wouldn't be able to show me every tattoo either, so I then bring in some more playful teasing by basically saying if you had more than 30 tattoos, then I wouldn't be able to talk to you. I would have gave any number that was one above your current amount just to be funny. I also link the ending in with my opener. I then bring in a subtle sexual tease indicating that she may have some tats on her like ass or tits or something, So that's how you make it a bit like flirty as well and a bit like sexual, without being a creep, of course. Well, would you look at that? I'm lucky today. I could. There's not like scandalous or anything. So she plays into my message and obviously addresses that she hasn't got that. Some would say more lucky, but that's beside the point. Got some class about you then. Good to know. The only thing left to do will be able to test your company over a few drinks. I'll make that judgment on my own over those drinks. So here I give a subtle compliment whilst also letting her know I approve. I then introduce a date feeler message, which is basically means introducing the idea of going on a date without directly saying it yet. She then responds super well to the date feeler message which sets me up perfectly to shoot for a number. So then I'd say, oh, give me a number already, and obviously we secure the number. So, this is all off an opener that you can have this sort of conversation. You shouldn't be coming in saying, hey, how are you? Do you know why? Because every other guy does it. So you got to come in absolute. You got to, like, she gets 20, 30 messages a day. So you got to come in with heat, or you're just going to get ignored, as most of you do. Most of you don't even get this far, not even past the first message because you say, hey, how are you? It's insane to me. So just look at these messages, digest them, learn how I talk, and learn how the girls respond to what I say as well, and how you should feed off what they say and how you say, and it's just a back and forth, That's how it should be. So the next conversation is with Chloe on Hinge, and I comment on one of her prompts. Do you agree or disagree that hostage or not, sometimes it's just nice to be held? So then I replied, I can do more than hold you hostage, Chloe. She then said, enlighten me. So, I send this is this can go in so many directions if you think about it, she was curious, saying, enlighten me. Sorry for the late reply. I was dealing with my other hostages. One got away. So that opens up a slot for you, Chloe. So I replied after 24 hours as I was busy, but instead of apologizing and going into small talk, I brought it back in the opening topic in a creative way. So yeah, I could have easily said like, oh, sorry for my late reply. I was whatever. I actually came in on the comment on a prompt, and like I was dealing with my other hostages. Like that is how you come in different right there. That just brings it back. Oh dear, that one that got away. Hopefully they won't grass on you. She was a waste of resources anyway. She won't sign a contract beforehand. So are you taking a spot, or am I going to have to find another prospect? If you are, just provide your full name and phone number below. So she plays along with the scenario so I can keep it going. Keeping it fun, playful, and still on the hostage topic. I then add some subtle scarcity by letting her know that I'll go and get another girl if she's not on board. Then shoot for the number in a creative way based on the convo we're having. So then she then plays a little hard to get. I don't work for the FBI, I promise. Play for a reply. Fantastic. What's your last name? And I'll share mine. She plays hard to get again. I shared over text and the rest of the information you desire. Again, I prompted her to give me your number. Give me your number and I'll text you. Haha. She then asks for my number. So I said, send yours. It's my job to do the add-in. I then take control and ask her to send her number as I originally asked her earlier. And then she said again, like, how do I know you're not a strange person? Haha. Nah, joking. Don't send lots of spam callers, and then sends her number. So, she kept playing hard to get, but like she knew she was going to give me a number because of like the creative messaging that she was just invested in. So you're going to have a lot of girls who play hard to get and deploy shit tests, and that's where most guys mess up. You get past them by getting the reps in and experience them before. It's easy when you know what you're doing. So basically, like you know what a shit test is when you've been through a lot of messages and you know how to deal with them. But like how you should deal with them mostly is just like you agree and amplify. That's how you should deal with shit tests. But if you're inexperienced, you're not going to know what they are. So that's a couple of shit tests there, playing hard to get as well. So have a look at this message, read through it, digest it, compare it to your messaging, see where you're going wrong and what I'm doing right, and just make the adjustments. Like I said, you need to be shown how to text girls. You'll never pay for something like this. You need to be shown. Every conversation with every girl is so different. Yeah, there's some things that fall in nicely, like you can use like the same opening message like I do on my likes from my photos and stuff to get a conversation going, but like no conversation is the same basically, so you need to learn this. So the next conversation is with Chantel. So she liked this photo. Straight out the gate with a playful opener. 5'5" brunette with a little attitude. You're way too close to my type, Chantel. I can say the same for you, Connor. So a positive reply and shows interest. Well, that's strange. There's not too many men of my stature walking around for you to deal with. Slight pushback and a cocky reply from me. Very true, babe. Maybe you're just one in a million. Stop it. Receive well and gives me a stroke to the ego. Can't be flirting with me like I said, when I get a compliment or something positive like that, I don't say thanks. I say stuff like, can't be flirting with me like that on a school night, Chantel. Oops, sorry, we'll make sure it doesn't happen again, babe. Again, positive reply. And then like, good girl. She loved that. Shoot for a number, never ask for a number, and then she gives me a number. So she displays interest from the start, so no need to have 50 messages back and forth. It's a mixture of fun, cocky replies as well. Like you can be, when you're the guy and like you have a good profile and like it's sort of your personality, like don't be afraid to be a bit cocky, like and a bit arrogant. As long as you don't go over the line and overboard with it and use it in every message. Like yeah, you're not gonna get very far. But when you like slot it in now and again, it just works. It just does. Like it's way better to do that than to ask boring small talk questions anyway. So the final conversation for this video. So as you can see in my prompt here, I'm currently taking a detox from blondes. Please respect my decision. Here comes a blonde. For fuck's sake, I just went from brunette to blonde. For fuck's sake, Megan, where do we go from here? I'm only like 3 days in. And then she says, I guess your detox has to end early. So, like I said with this prompt before, like it's such a banger. You get the brunettes and the blondes commenting on this. It just baits them in. And obviously, you know, her telling me to end the detox early is like a strong indication of interest. I'm trying to be strict here. Are you worthy of breaking it? So I give her a qualifying question. Give me one worthy trait or attribute and I'll break this streak right now. So, you know, being really playful. And then she says, duh, me, that's like 7 million attributes right there. You know, girls, classic, just backing themselves, knowing they're either good company or like her as a whole is enough. And I said, damn, I really never thought about it in that way. I guess I'm just going to have to confiscate your number because this detox is ending early. And then she said, exactly, that's understandable. And it gives me the number and her IG. But, you know, this is like, that right there is just a playful way to ask for a number. You know, I'm just going to have to confiscate your number because this detox is ending early. So, like, she sort of won, but, like, I'm getting her number as well. So, like, it's a double win for both of us, you know. And she felt good off that, and so did I. So, like, that's how, this is how it is, you know. So yeah, that's like a classic, really good conversation, nice and easy, nice and short. And like I said, you don't need to, you know, it's not 70 messages long. I don't need to talk to her for ages, and neither do they, to be honest. Like, they don't want to talk to you, you know, over 70 messages. Like, they want you to make them feel type of way. Right, this guy is not a creep. Oh, he's got a bit of game about him. Oh, his profile looks good, and then, you know, you just guide the conversation in the way you want, go for the number, and you just get it off the app, and then you go into the text then, and you start, you know, working towards a date. Like, that's the whole process, really. So if you want more breakdowns like this, they are on my Instagram. So if you type in @connor.pranky and DM me if you need help with messaging, I'll be happy to help. So cheers, guys.